So today I'm doing a real test of my battery bank with my solar setup to actually test what its watt hours are. So far we're at 600, which isn't too bad since I've taken horrible care of them. I left them sit for like a long time. They never got we're still going between below 12.6 volts. This is the 150 watt panel I got that it's disconnected right now. I had to let it charge it up for about 3 or 4 days. And it can pump out about 10 amps, which is better than my power supply, so it's cool. We have 3 batteries here. This is a junker. This is a nice one that I bought online. Deep cell, deep charging, generic car battery. And we can see we're down to about 11.9 volts. And I have these hooked up to my 1500 watt full sine wave inverter. I'm trying to keep the sun off her. And we have a known load on there, which is this little heat lamp, little quick lamp. And that's about 300 watts. I mean, it is exactly 300 watts. The bulb said so. But, I mean, I still test it, check the amperage, check the voltage. And I timed when I started turning it on. I don't know if you can see that. We're about 2 hours and 2 minutes, which means 2 hours, 300 watts. So yeah, 600 watt battery setup so far. Now I calculated it out, and each one of these is about 400 watt hours, ideally, assuming 10 to 14 volt discharge, 100 amps for an hour. And so that's about 1.2 kilowatt hours, which is a pretty hefty battery. But that's ideally. I doubt we'll reach, well, in short, this should last about 4 hours. I doubt we'll reach 4 hours, but I'm already happy we got halfway there, because really wasn't sure. It dropped so fast in the beginning, but it seems to be panning out. Maybe it's just the top charge. So we'll see how this goes. Wow. So that's 4 hours. Shocking. It's only 11.4 volts. You know, I think the reason why is while each one of these is 400 watt hours battery life, I think this one is actually 800. I'm not sure though, don't quote me on that. It's a nice one. But yeah. When this is over though, I'm definitely gonna measure the resistance of this boy and then V squared over R to figure out its actual wattage. Very impressive though, I postulate maybe, I let it charge up to about 13.8 volts, 14 volts, and then I stopped charging it right away and hooked this up, so perhaps if I would waited maybe a day to let the voltage come down, it would have been a more realistic test. Or maybe not, because I want to use this to power my workshop, so cool beans. Alright, that's about 10.5 volts. I'm going to call it. I don't want to drain them too much, so 5 hours and 13. That's pretty good. That's something like 1500 watts or 1.5 kilowatt battery. All of these together. So the load looks to be about 7 ohms at about 124 volts. So when that light gets hot, its resistance actually goes way up till it reaches equilibrium, because it's definitely not 4.6 ohms, because that'd be a lot of power, thousands of watts. So I guess we're just gonna have to rely on the accuracy of the bulb. Show you guys. See? About 300 watts. So now I'm going to charge it back up and probably do that test again, maybe with a bigger or smaller load. That was about 1500 watt hours. So 1500 watts for an hour, or 300 watts for about 5 hours. Take your pick. Anyways, hope this is interesting.